Good morning, everybody. How are we doing? It's Sunday, and I'm being joined by Alan. How are you doing, mate?
I'm very well. Yourself?
I'm good. I'm forgetting that it's still the morning and not the afternoon.
It is an
Yeah,
hour
no,
ahead, but it's fine. It still is
an hour
morning.
ahead, but it's still technically the morning. But yeah, no, all good. I mean, there's lots to just chat about. There's lots sort of going on. Let's just before we do that, let's just see who we've got in the house today. Bobby K was here an hour ago. Bobby has been sat here waiting for an hour. Much love to you, Bobby. Hope you're doing well, mate. Big up DJ Green Alert. Big up El Tel, always in the house. Big up Mike, you're always here. Big up Spurs related. Hope you guys are doing well. Big up David, you're always here as well. Big up Mark, all the way over from Melbourne. Hope well. Total Hotspur, how you doing, mate? Well, whichever one of you guys, all of you, you're all great guys. Love you guys. Always welcome on the show. Mr. Cousins, always here. Hope you're well, mate. Big up Jonah. Big up to you. Corey boy, can anyone join the show? Yes, you're welcome to. Get this to 50 likes and I'll put the link in the chat. Only rule is you must have your camera on. Rule 101. Proud of you, Geordie. Always here. Big up. Chris Cowlin the Great. Bow down to you, you little YouTubers. Brilliant. The
Thanks,
trolls are
sir.
already here. We've been here for 6 minutes and the trolls are here. Big up anyway. As long as you're here, make sure you subscribe. That's all I say. Big up Jason. Hope you're well. The Spurs bench morning. Good morning to you guys. Who else we got? Oh yes, Mark. Not far from 1,000. Please subscribe. The shameless plugging will continue until we get to 1,000. If you don't want it to happen, just hit the subscribe button. Jokes aside, just don't unsubscribe after yesterday's. If you watched that, it was all good fun. I love Barry. Barry loves me. Big up video complete Sophia. Hope you're doing well. Who else we got? Big up Chris, always here. Who we got? Bill, RB. Hope you guys well. And Nigel here. Big up morning to you. And Delio Wits. I always confuse your name. Big up, big up. Let's talk because me and you haven't really spoken much because we've been busy doing other stuff. So I'd like to get your takes on the news that's sort of coming out at the moment about Spurs and defenders. It looks like the goalkeeper is going to be done. Rumours are now saying that he's going to be flying in today, have his medical, so probably be announced tomorrow.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts first on the goalkeeper front?
So for me, I will. What I'm annoyed at the moment on the Spurs fan base, obviously for like quite a large majority, is it's either you've got to be completely 100% positive about everything, new manager and all that. You've got to be, because you're like myself, staunch Levy out and Enoch out. You've got to be all against it.
Yeah.
I'm in the middle, and I'm just like, I don't like when fans are like, you've got to think one way or the other. No. You can hold multiple views at the same time. For me, I will have concerns about players that we're signing that I think have, frailties in their game. I will also be positive about signings, because it looks like we're going through a method of buying players to fit Ange, which is what we need. Ange is coming into this team. He's going to have to employ his own things. I don't want to see 6 months down the line, a year down the line, where they're going, oh, this wasn't me. This was a club signing. This was, I don't want to see that again because we thought under Conte that weren't going to happen, but it did. What I want to see is a clear method. If all these players that Ange are getting in, they're all Ange signings, Postecoglou signings, I'm all for it. Let him let him do what he wants. Let him bring in who he wants. Because then ultimately, if it does foul, it's on him and the players. If it's meddling from above, then it's going to be one of them where it's like, well, everyone's to blame because no one's telling these owners where to go. No one's doing anything like that. In regards to the goalkeeper, I didn't see the thing is, I didn't see anyone asking for Vicario before his name was announced. I saw two people actually say his name on the social on Twitter, and both said he wasn't the right keeper for us because of his passing game, like his ball carrying and all that from out the back. So I was like, okay, but now everyone's like, oh yeah, perfect signing for Spurs. I'm like, slow down. People had reservations beforehand, or people weren't knowing it. So just relax. If, like I said, if people we're talking about Raya being too high a price, that's absolutely fine. But I don't like people that then just go, oh, Vicario is what we always wanted. No, because we were doing deals, we were doing negotiations with Raya. So I have concerns over him, like in regards to playing out from the back. If it's like we're playing a high line, and some games we're going to get absolutely tonked because we're going to just play the same way and go all out high press and high octane football. There's going to be games where we lose and we lose bad, and some of them might lead to keeper making mistakes. Like we've seen with but I don't want them people to then start jumping on his back because he's going to be a new keeper in a new system. You have to give him time. So I am on the fact that I will point out where I think there could be problems, but I will back any player that comes into this team under this manager for success. So you can hold two different views at the same time. And it's just a bit numbing that you have some people going, no, you can only say it's a great sign, or you can't then celebrate if they do well. I'm like, we're not children. Come on. This is ridiculous.
I get that. And I think on my part, the point you made there about club signing, but I'd always stand on the standpoint when we talk about the word clubs, when we say club signing, isn't everything a club signing? Every signing a club signing. Yeah. Let's be honest, Perisic wasn't signed for longevity at this football club, but we still got to hold him. We've still got to deal with him. So I always stand on this, and when one goes, club signing, yes, I get the point is we're buying for a certain system and stuff like that. But when we say club signing, Perisic is still here, and he hasn't gone when Conte got sacked. So it goes in both ways, and I'm in the same boat as you, where I'm kind of not in the, I'm kind of in the middle of it all, where I've got someone saying my audio is not good, is it? Oh, why? Okay.
No.
Is it better now?
So you get speak again?
Is it better now?
Yeah, it's a different.
Let me know in the chat. My audio is still a problem. Big up, Jack, mate. Let me know if it's still a problem. Yeah. Sometimes it connects to like the webcam microphone and stuff like that. It's really annoying. But anyway, yeah. So what I was trying to sort of get to was that I just feel at the moment that we're so knee-jerk in the fan base at the moment. Everyone's so knee-jerk. I think I sort of had the argument with the whole Vicario thing was if, for example, we had this goalkeeper was our, let's just use the quote, number 2 choice out of David Raya and this guy.
Yeah.
And we felt that, do you know what? We're not going to sit for weeks on end to sign this goalkeeper. We're going to go straight in under the radar and get him. Isn't that what proper football clubs do? And I'm not saying that Tottenham is a football club, but I'm just saying on the basis of this one signing, isn't that what we wanted them to do? If, for example, we tried so hard to get XYZ, but it hasn't come through and they're not budging, but we're desperate to make sure a keeper is signed before the start of pre-season, and we've gone, do you know what? Well, keep this door open ajar for a second, but quietly, we're going to go and speak about this other guy and see if we get it done. We find out that actually we got it done relatively quickly.
Yeah.
And we got it done relatively quickly.
Yeah.
And under the radar. And then all of a sudden, 24 hours after we hear that we're pulling out of David Raya, boom, goalkeeper, there you go. Agree for the fee, agree personal terms. He's on a plane in a couple of days. So isn't that what we asked for? And listen, I can't sit there and say I know enough about this kid. Haven't seen any, never watched him play. Anyone that says they have, you've either watched a lot of Serie A or you're lying.
Yeah.
So and I'll be honest, when I've seen so many people, I tell you what, the Serie A expert absolutely popped off going either he is absolutely awful or he's amazing. It's like I sit back and I go, listen. But the only thing I got it on is on data. And listen, we're all talking about running a data style now. We're all trying to go down this data analytical route. The data shows he's got very similar traits, some slightly better, some slightly worse than David Raya. So isn't this just showing us that maybe we are going down a different route? And what I also heard what I did hear a lot of is, this is a Levy signing. And I said, no, it's not. It's literally the opposite of a Levy signing. A Levy signing would have been, and I said on my show when it happened, a Levy signing would have been, let's get Jordan Pickford because he's at Everton. We might have paid 40 million quid for him, and it's done. It's easy. I know the player. No one can tell me Daniel Levy knew who this lad was like with us. I hesitate to believe it.
Well, to a point, like I get what you're saying about Levy. I don't think Levy would have known him inside out and out, this player, this Vicario. But we remember on the Tottenham Hotspur documentary where literally they basically gave Jose Mourinho a thing like the thing about Bergwijn saying we want to get him and all that, and like Mourinho was kind of like because he was a cheap option.
Yeah,
people saying about Vicario isn't a Levy signing because he would have gone Pickford, but we know English tax is an extra 20 million on it. So obviously when you look at the two keeper, which is what you get with Raya, but I'm at the point where like the reason why I wanted Raya is because I'm thinking there's less risk with Raya coming from Prem to Prem because he's been there, done it, knows what it's all about, to a youngster. Well, I say youngster, but somebody who's coming in from outside of the league who may take time to adapt. So that's what another area where I'm cautious of. But in regards to this being a Levy signing, for me, you could look at it the other way. It's the option where you pay potential 40 million or 20 million. So people in that aspect say it's a Levy signing. I have reservations, but then I'll have it like last season was the only season I didn't have reservations. I was like, we're moving quick. It looks like we know what we're doing. This, that, and the other. I was like, let's see where we go. And obviously, it didn't work out for one reason or another. So the one season I didn't have any doubts was turned out to be one of the worst seasons that I've seen for Spurs playing football.
That's fair.
Where we finished. So now I'm going to go back to me being me because I've seen it through all the times we've had different managers and everything like that. It's always like, yep, we know what we're doing. This player, like, coming for this player. And it always turns out the stories from managers all the way back from AVB, Harry Redknapp wanted players he didn't get. You know, it's come all the way through. So I'm thinking to myself, but this is why I'm holding reservation. I'm like, if this is if Postecoglou is the person to enforce change, I'm all for it. I'm all for it for him and his ideas and our board sticking out. I've said that's the one main thing that I hate with our board is that they stick the nose in. And you say about club signings, but like in the fact that Conte was like, I didn't want Jed Spence. They said they wanted him because of the club, the young English profile and all that.
Conte still signed that off, though, is the other thing I will say.
Yeah, I know. That's why I'm more critical of Conte, because people will sit here and go, oh, Conte, when he came out and like the bombshell, the way he spoke to the press about Spurs, okay, you went half the way in saying about the players, but then you walk back and you're trying to say about the ball. So either say everyone as a whole or don't say anything at all. You can't put it one way and stuff like that. So I was more critical of Conte. So I'm trying to be as fair and even as I can.
I think that's fair and balanced. I think the point I was just trying to make is when we say about like wanting, I think we all let's be fair. I think we all collectively wanted David Raya to come in. I did as well. I was a massive fan of his. I was looking at a lot of what he'd done last season. Was very good. But when we say about this, let's just say when we say about Postecoglou, what if Postecoglou came in and said, nope, I like both of these. This one's obviously this one's got homegrown things, so it helps us on registration side of things. But let's be honest, what if the manager said, I'm happy for either, and we've gone, do you know what? Financially, we can make a decision here and getting a keeper that's cheaper, because that means then it will allow us to maneuver better for a defender. I said all along, if we go and get now a defender in quickly because we've got this goalkeeper in, surely that's a positive, not a negative.
Yeah. Look, no, it is. Like I'm saying, it is a positive in the fact that it looks like they've remember, guys, if you get up to 50 likes, he will drop the link to come on. So
link will come in and said 8 more likes. Come on, guys, we can get that to 50. There's 98 of you in here. Come on, it's not hard. Just hit the button. It takes
it looks like they've had other options and they've gone, well, okay, we're not going to be held to ransom for the Raya money, but this keeper is as same ilk or good or worse, or it's still around the same thing. So I'm like, okay, fair enough. I like to see our club doing that rather than what we've done previously is that we haven't got a first choice and then we get all the way down to the last day of the window and then we get somebody on the last day on a cheap, or we mess about and we take time to get people in and we get somebody of worse ilk. But what I'm saying is that the reason why I'm more critical in regards to how they're doing business and everything like that is because this should have all been taken care of ages ago.
Agreed.
This should have all been taken care of. People will go, but you had to wait for the Scottish Cup to finish. But let's be honest, Postecoglou wasn't the first choice. Because Postecoglou came out of the blue later on down the line. There was people that went before him, Nagelsmann, Slot, and all that.
Yeah.
But people saying about but you had to do the Scottish Cup. That's fine. But it should be a point where, I said, Conte gone, you need to bring the new manager in there to give him the rest of the season. You have all this thing. So as soon as you get to the transfer window, you hit the ground running. I know this, and this. So we are being reactive, but it looks like they're trying to, the data around the data-driven side of it now, it looks like they are doing that. They're having multiple people that they're literally looking at the same time and making an informed decision based on who they can get as quick as they can, but for the best price, as well as them being good enough for the team. So I'm all for it. I'm here to see how it goes. If we do sign players that I think isn't right, or I think has a problem or a flaw to their game that won't help the team, I will air it, but I will not. I will not sit here and just say every single signing is going to be horrendous, this, that, and the other, because we haven't seen how, like, we Spurs fans don't have an in-depth knowledge of Postecoglou, how he plays, and the type of players we bring and stuff like that. So we'll see. If we get to the end of the season and we're fighting relegation and he's left and it's been a poor season, then we'll be like, Spurs fans like me will be like, same old story. But I'm not going to judge. I will see how we go for the rest of the season. And like I said, I want any player that comes into Spurs to be a success. I want any manager to be a success.
I think that's the collective thing there. We actually I think everyone goes about it in different ways, but actually we just want collectively we want things to happen. We're at 49 likes, so one of you hit the like button and I'll put the link in if you guys want to come and join in thing. Said always rule 101, have your camera on. That's the only parameter, but and obviously I'm not gonna have loads of people on like I did the other day. It's very hard when you're doing a stream like this and then you've got 8-9 people on stream. It's so hard to manage. It's chaos. So I'll just sort of on a rotational thing and just sort of put people into what they want to say, and let you guys ask your questions to me. There you go. I'll pop it in now. I think. Oh yeah, no, DJ. I think my thing was just a bit behind and it didn't update. There you go, guys. Jump in. Welcome to join. I'll put that out to Twitch as well if you're out over on Twitch. So coming in and ask me and Alan your questions. Come in, ask your questions. We'll kind of just roll it. Oh, here he is. How you doing, mate? Jose's here. How you doing, sir?
Good morning. How are you? Good
morning, mate. I'm good. Big up Chris as well. Hope you're doing well, mate.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning. So guys, what are your thoughts at the moment? I think we've sort of talked about about this in the sense that, like, are people getting a little bit knee jerk when we're talking about signings and all that lot, or do we think at the moment that actually, do you know what, we're going down a different route and we've kind of just got to, and I hate the saying, but trust the process?
Well, on a personal level, for me, I'm super chilled. I've maintained that if we can do anything before the 1st of July, it'd be a bonus. But I actually think the real work will start when the 2 Australians come in. So
agreed.
I didn't have an expectation that we'd be going bananas before the first of July. So yeah, I'm really chilled. It's when you've got the big guns out there, your DiMarzios and your Romanos saying that we're linked with X, Y, and Z. The people that we're linked with is really good. Right profiles, good ages. But until we get people through the door, I'm just chilled about it. Yeah. I think for me, and I'll be honest here, I think the most important thing is the outgoings.
Agreed. At the moment, I think we need to start getting people out of the door.
Yeah, we need to trim this squad
massively. And this is, and Jose, I'd like to hear your thoughts on it quickly. It was that this is why I said about not being in Europe next season, because everyone misquoted me and went, "Oh well, you want us to win a trophy, but then you don't want us in Europe." I said, no, the difference is I don't want us in Europe this season. The season coming was because I felt that being in Europe would hinder us in the sense that we're going to kind of have to keep a relatively large squad. I feel now, not being in Europe, the squad can be massively trimmed down. We can literally don't have to go and we can get rid of a lot of deadwood and keep it at 1 game a week, and we've got one squad done, and then after that build on that, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Big up Abdi as well. Welcome out. I'll come to you in just a second. Chris, hope you're well. Hope you're doing good, mate. Thoughts at the moment. Where do you see Tottenham going this season? Because at the moment, obviously, the fan base is, and I think what Alan made a point earlier, everyone's so polar opposite at the moment. Either some people are really excited what's going to happen, or everyone's going, oh my God, this is exactly what we're doing at Tottenham. It's the same old thing. For me, I'm relatively in the middle, but I'd like to get your thoughts on it.
Yeah, sure, no problem. And good morning to everyone. I think there's a lot. Yeah, you're right about the polarization, because there's so many years of same old, and there's a lot of excitement about Andy's going to do the business and he's going to change the club radically, blah blah blah. But there's a lot of expectation on it as well, which is I'm on that boat, because I there's a sense of that there's things that have been doing differently, right? There are rumours about Gabonini and doing things differently, and Levy's taken like a back seat, and he's just letting things being done, like being cooked, and there's no interference from the board, like from years previously. So that is a positive if that's true. But then there's the doubters, just to say, just to put a word on it, are there in the background with their claws out, like, we told you so. We knew that Daniel would be there. We knew he would interfere. So yes, there's polarization, but there's I don't know. To me, there's I don't know. There's a sense of things being done differently. So I'm looking forward to it. But as Eltel said, Jose, the rumours coming out of like the big guns, so to speak, Fabrizio Romano. The thing with that is, right, I'm not sure that they're the only people on the face of the earth that know what's going on, because if you follow it properly, all right, Fabrizio says that it's going to be Tapsoba and Mickey van der Ven. Right? You follow other people and it's Tapsoba and Tosin, and they're going to sign both, not just one or the other. They're going to sign both. I think
we need to get 2 in. I think I think we need 3, but I would take 2 right now. Chris, I know everything you said. I can't disagree with anything you've just said. Absolutely That's right fine. Again. I just think at the moment, I think we're not going to be looking down this sort of. We're not going to be going out there signing 60, 70 million pound players in every position. I think we've got to be sensible here and realize. And I say it all the time. I think the Champions League, I feel, has papered over a lot of people's mindsets. And not in a bad way, because I get it, I understand it. But I think people think, because we've been in the Champions League for so long, we can go out there and spend 100 millions and millions on players, when we're not really at that level, in my opinion.
No, and there's a clear, sorry to cut you off, but there's a clear, image that has been papered over that, slightly overachieving. Right, with Poch, we did that brilliantly the last 18 months, the so-called 18 months. And then there was like the air being lit out of that balloon, and then a lot of people are talking about, why don't we go out and get Guardiola? That kind of, we're not there anymore. And the latest information is that Man City have agreed personal terms with Guardiola. Now, look at the difference between clubs. Look at the difference between the structure, right? Now,
but the Vardio ones are great. Sorry again, I didn't mean to cut you off, but the Vardio,
that's fine.
Everyone was saying, just pay the money for Vardio.
That's 100 million.
But not just that. Why would the player want to come to Tottenham?
Yeah. That's true. That's the other side of the aspect. But you're looking at a player that now they're asking 100 million for him, right? Apart from the fact that, why would he want to come to us? He's definitely want to go to the current UCL champions. You know what I mean? And what they're going to be able to pay him, we might not even be able to,
of course,
even muster those words. You know what I mean?
This is what I say to people like Big Boss Man. So we can spend more. Actually, yeah, probably we can. Yeah. But these players aren't coming to Tottenham. Like, do you know what I mean?
Not now, exactly.
But these elite players weren't coming to us when we were constantly in the Champions League. Because for me, I know where Tottenham are. Tottenham are a 4th to sort of 7th placed team, realistically. We're there or thereabouts. I mean, we've pushed a little further on. And when you say Big Boss, when you say which players, the Bastonis, the Vardials, they all didn't want to come to Tottenham.
We had
the money down for Bastoni, but we had the money ready to pay for him. But he didn't want to come to Tottenham. No. This is my point. I think we completely miss sense of understanding on where we are as a club. We're not Man City, Man United, Liverpool's. They're the clubs that go and get the big team. Could even put Arsenal in that conversation right now. But
I mean, yeah, the
mad.
teams that have got structure.
I don't know why people don't see it.
No, but teams that have got structure, teams that have got a plan, that have got a vision, that don't do it overnight. Because Man City have been doing it. For example, Man City is the clear, team, right? Is the clear example of how a team should be run. Now, whether you want to go on about you've got 115 charges, I don't care about that. I'm talking about football and how a football team should be run from inside out, and how they do things is translated onto how the football team plays and the results on the pitch, right? That is how you should do it, because they got a vision, they got a plan, they know how to execute their ideas, right? Yeah. That is the different level. We're not talking about one level. We're talking about 8 or 10 different levels of difference between them and the rest, and Spurs being there, of course. So, we've got to calm down. We've got to know our place, and we've got to, if now
in order, don't you?
Of course, and if now, for example, there is a change that your Gabbanini and Ange are saying, look, we have to invest heavily in like 100 million, 80 million, 90 million in 2 or 3 centre backs because the defence needs it, right? Then so be it, right? But 100 million on Guardiola is not 100 million on 3 centre backs. So
of course, but Big Boss Man, when you're saying about Maddison, Tapsoba, and Anderson, 2 of those players are heavily linked with Tottenham right now. So I don't get your point. The point I'm trying to make is when people were talking about the sort of upper echelons of players, and Faces, I just want to bring Abdi into it because obviously he's been here a bit.
Sure.
So I'd love to drag you in, mate, and I hope you're well. You've got a lot of fans there in the chat at the moment, mate, because everyone's calling you the B-Tech Theo Walcott. No disrespect. I mean, the chat are loving you. The chat are loving you.
Yeah, man. It's all good. It's all good. I mean,
I hope you're well, mate. I'd love to get your take on what we were just sort of talking about, because as I said, where do you see Tottenham in the sort of pecking order? Because at the moment, I think we are a 4th to sort of 7th based quality team. I think we need to start understanding that and start buying a bit more pragmatically, but a bit more sensibly. I think when we were in the Champions League, we didn't elevate. I use Newcastle as a great example. And listen, I know people are going to go, well, they've just been taken over by Saudis. Irrelevant isn't the kind of point. They've not gone out there and spent £150 million on individual players. They've gone and bought players that price tags that we could have gone and talked about at the same conversation. So like they went in and got Sandro Tonali, who's one of the best young Italians in Italy, and they've just gone boom, 70 million done, you're in, next to Bruno Guimaraes, and that's a good pairing. Do you think when we had the moment in the Champions League, did you feel that we didn't capitalize when we had the opportunity to?
It's kind of funny because as an Arsenal fan looking at Tottenham, you guys will never fail to make me laugh. And one thing that I've noticed, I've seen it with my club as well. They'll always stall when it comes to players that that everyone kind of wants. I mean, for example, we've been stalling over Declan Rice all summer. Sandro Tonali's a better player. Newcastle got him for cheap. It's called a good business. And dealing and seeing, and when you said Tottenham are 4th to 7th at around there, man, that's be kind of generous.
Well, I'm saying relatively. Let's be honest. In the last probably decade, let's be honest, that's relatively where Spurs have finished. We might have gone a little bit higher at some points and a little bit lower in other periods. But my point is in relative terms, Spurs are a team that are fundamentally challenged to be into the Champions League. Relatively, we're a team that's not good enough to go and win the league at the moment, and we're a better team than finishing mid-table. So my point being is, yes, last season was a terrible season, but in relative terms, I expect Spurs to finish between 3rd and 7th, realistically, and anywhere theoretically. Anything more than that is better. Is we're doing better. However, the point what I'm trying to make is we shouldn't be at that stage. We should be at a stage where we're in the conversation with the likes of Arsenal, Man City, Man United, and all that lot in that top echelon. but because of the mismanagement at the moment of the football club, that's why we've kind of slumped that lower down.
100%. And one thing that I think Tottenham fans haven't thought about is with your transfer business, what happens with Harry Kane? Because if you sell him, then you have to get someone in, and knowing that you've got a lot of money in your back pocket, it means you're gonna have to overpay for certain players. I mean, you overpaid for Richarlison last summer, and Harry Kane wasn't close to leaving at the time, but now the situation's changed.
So, okay, we'll open it up to the panel here, guys, about Harry Kane, because every time I talk about Harry Kane on here, everyone completely misunderstands what I'm saying and believes I'm some sort of Harry Kane hater, whilst I've got pictures all over Harry Kane all over my flat, which is quite ironic. It's quite funny. So, Harry Kane, I think the situation is a bit of a murky one now, because I feel like we're creeping into pre-season. Pre-season starts in less than a week. Well, the third. It's a week today. I think they all go back. The third. So it's a good point, actually. It's a good point what Abdi made, because actually now, where do we go? Because if Harry Kane's coming back, if Harry Kane does come back now, does that mean he's staying? And then, but with no new contract, does that mean we're committed to the fact that he's going to stay, and we're not going to offer him a new deal, or he's going to reject a new deal? Is that a worry, Alan? Obviously, I'll bring you back into it, mate. I'd love to know your thoughts on that, because isn't that a worry that we're going to basically lose our one superstar for nothing next year?
I mean, this is what I've been saying, and I think we think quite similarly, but people always seem to misunderstand. So I'm at the place where with Harry Kane, okay, if he's going to come back and he's going to play the last season but not commit to a new contract, sell him now, get the money. Because I would rather get money for him now if he's not going to accept the contract and not going to say I'm going to stay at Spurs. I'd rather get 80 to 100 million, like if we can, or 80 million, to be able to recoup and put money in, because people are saying we don't have the money now. So you're going to get to the end of the year, if he doesn't sign, obviously this is all hypothetical, so we don't know what's going to happen. You're going to get to the end of the year where he's going to walk on a free and not have the money to reinvest into a striker when that's the biggest gap you're going to have to fill. Makes no sense. People saying, "Oh, I'm happy for him to play his last year," and then he's done everything he can. He can leave on a free. He can leave on a free. I'm like, okay, leave on a free where you can walk to any club, any club free. Where you like, if he's going to go to a rival, I want them to pay as much as they can, but the problem we are in is that they have mismanaged his contracts, in the fact that when he wanted to leave with Man City, you signed a 5-year contract, not to sell at any price. Now he has all the power. Now he can say, I'm not going to sign. So it falls their hand. If they don't want to sell him because they need him for this season under Postecoglou, he walks for free anyway. So he's got all the power because they've mismanaged the situation over time. And I think it's going back to the thing that was happening with Man City and the fact that, he was wanting to go, they weren't going to let him and all that. And now I think he's either going to do the same back, because I don't think he's going to commit. But I would want 80 to 100 million so that we can go to Postecoglou. There's extra towards your squad. Build this squad in your image, rather than I'll see out the last year and I walk on a free and everyone goes, oh, okay, that's fine. We'll part ways, shake hands, and all that. And then he walks away to probably a Man United or a worst case scenario to Chelsea on a free. And people will say he's not going to walk to Chelsea, this, that, and the other. No, he loves to do the club too much, but Sol Campbell to Arsenal when he loved the club too much. Pochettino to Chelsea when he loved the club too much.
Alan, if they're the only team that offer him the best deal, why wouldn't he go? And that's the terrifying thing. But what's the chance? And I'll bring one of you guys into it as well. What is the chances that actually there's a middle ground? And this is that actually Harry Kane signs a 1-year extension. However, that he signs a 1-year extension, but a release clause of, let's just say, £75 million is put into that. Would that be the middle ground that people want to see? Jose, I'll ask you on that, because I don't see Harry Kane signing a long-term contract with Spurs. Hands down. Oh, okay. He was so angry, he disappeared. I'll bring that to Chris. I'm assuming he's going to come back. He's probably just dropped out on his internet. Chris, I'll put that question to you then, mate.
Okay.
Could that be the middle ground? Because Harry Kane might go, do you know what? I don't want to leave this club on a free. I want the club to regain some sort of financial benefit if I leave. I know there is, look at examples of like Jack Grealish doing that. There was a few others that basically said like that were boyhood clubs. They left because of that. I'm not saying this is going to happen, by the way. This is just a complete hypothetical. But do you think that's something that could happen? That Kane goes, I'll sign a 1-year extension, but I want a release clause in here that allows me to go wherever I want for this fee. Fee could be whatever, by the way, 50, 70 million quid or whatever. Could that be something that happens?
I mean, it sounds a possible middle ground, possibility, whatever you want to call it. The other two extremes are he walks on a free or he signs. Doesn't have to be a long-term contract, but 3 year? I mean, it's not exactly long, is it? It's 2.5 years more because then he can walk away anyway 6 months after, 6 months before it ends. But I can't see. I mean, it's a possibility, but why would he want to wait a year more? Because he can just walk away in 6 months anyway. I mean,
No. I think that's a fair point. Listen, what my point was mine was just sort of, could there be a middle ground in it? That because I don't see Harry. If Harry Kane doesn't sign a long-term if he signs a long-term contract at Tottenham, he's got zero ambition, for my opinion. And listen, genuinely, like his ambition needs to be massively questioned if he signs a long-term contract again at Tottenham. Because how many times does he have to look at what we're doing and go, yeah, I'll
better than that.
He is better than that. He deserves better as well. But Jose, I'll bring you into it as well, mate, because again, the Harry Kane situation has gone quiet. But could this be quiet because Man United haven't done anything yet? Man United may now, bear in mind, have pulled out of the Mason Mount deal. Might go, do you know what? We want another England talent, and the money could be there to go. Listen, they were willing to pay over £60 million for Mason Mount. Who's to say that they're not willing to pay 80, 90, 100 million pounds for Harry Kane? Is he there? Oh, he's frozen. I'll take that to Abdi. Every time I ask you a question, he freezes up. Abdi, I'll ask you. I'm Adam. He's doing it on purpose. But yeah, Abdi, go on. Let me know what your thoughts are.
Sorry about that. My audio is a little blurry. Could you repeat what you asked?
No, you're okay. You're okay.
I couldn't quite hear it from my end, so it might be my AirPods. So do you mind repeating that?
So the question was that do you think that the Harry Kane saga could go out to the end of the transfer window, till the end of the transfer?
100%.
And do you think Man United, whilst losing out on not Declan Rice, so losing out on Mason Mount, that they might go, do you know what? We were willing to pay £65 million for Mount. We can offer 80, 90, 100 million pounds for Harry Kane, and we could tempt him and convince him to come to Man United before the end of the window.
I'm not sure. It depends on the takeover. If the Qataris come in, Kane's going. If the Glazers remain, or for my satisfaction, who's the other guy? Jim Ratcliffe comes to Man United. That would kill Man United's hopes of getting Harry Kane. So,
yeah,
whether he.
No, I think you're right. I do get what you're saying. I just think at the moment, I think the Harry Kane thing is, unfortunately, and however much I don't like it, I feel that it's going to end up dragging on until September the 1st, which worries me because it was one of those I always said, we need to come out and say Harry Kane is not going, or we are actively seeking Harry Kane to be sold. I think it can only be one of those two things. And Jose, this is the third time I'm going to give you a chance because every time I ask you a question, you see your internet just cuts out and you disappear. So I'll ask you that one. What's your thoughts on it? Because I'm saying I stand by it, that we have to be absolutely adamant. Harry Kane is staying and he's going to commit to a new contract, or we need to sell him. I feel like the only two options. Some people say, well, keep him for 1 more year and let him go on a free. But a player of that quality, you can't let go on a free, surely.
I think that it's one of the first conversations that needs to take place next week. So when Ange and Scott start, they have that conversation. So obviously it probably won't take place. The 1st of July is on a Saturday. So you're looking at the 3rd of July as a Monday. that's one of the first conversations that needs to take place, so we know exactly where we stand going forward, so we don't piss about for the next two months. If Harry Kane wants to stay, then tell them that you want to stay. If Harry Kane is unsure about anything at all, then we need to. In some respects, if Harry Kane's unsure, then we may need to take that decision out of his hands. I am not adverse to him being sold this window.
Yeah, and Mike, big up to you, mate. You're always in here and you're always chatting away. But so how can striving to be the best striker ever in English football statistically be no ambition? I refuse to be a sheep and follow the general narrative against Harry Kane. Mike, the problem is, and I say this every time, I always use the same analogy, and this is the one thing. This is just to mention to you: if Spurs are playing Leicester in an FA Cup final in 10 years' time, hypothetically, and they bring, do you know what? We're going to bring in a Leicester legend in Jamie Vardy and a Tottenham legend in Harry Kane, both retired doing their thing as pundits. And then when they do the thing at the end, they're going to say, under Jamie Vardy's name, Premier League and FA Cup winner. Under Harry Kane's, they're going to say, top goal scorer in Premier League history. I'm sorry, for Harry Kane, he deserves to have won 3 Premier Leagues, won 5 FA Cups, because I believe Harry Kane is that good. Harry Kane is one of the best players I've ever seen at this football club. And the fact is as a club, we've let him down. And when I say no ambition, Harry Kane must see what's going on. He can't be blind to seeing what he sees around us. The squad is diminishing, the lack of ambition from the ownership. How can him staying at Spurs show that he's got ambition? Or for me, it shows he's comfortable. And that's nothing against Harry Kane. There's nothing against that. But for a player of his quality, he deserves to be at the top levels. And as I said, you're right. He is the best striker in England. I think he is. I think pound for pound has been the best striker in the Premier League on his technical ability. There's others that have been great. You could argue the likes of Henry, but didn't stay long enough. But Kane has been incredible year on year. But the argument will always be said, what has he won? How can Harry Kane sit there and watch Brian Hill walk back with a winner's medal and he's not got one? I sit and think these players are human. They want to win stuff like we want to win stuff. Harry Kane won't want to come at the end of his career and sit there and go, and when he's and when he sit there with his grandchildren on his knee and his grandchildren go, oh Dad, what did you win? Oh, well, I was top goal scorer for 3 years, and then a guy called Erling Haaland beat me. He doesn't want to be in that situation. And I refuse to believe it. I look at it from the personal level. That's all. This is nothing against Harry Kane. If he stays, I'd love him to stay at the club because I love him from a Spurs fan. But from a personal standpoint, I go, surely he wants to go and win trophy after trophy. But that's just me. That's just my thoughts.
And Bailey's coming back with a winner's medal as well.
That's what I mean. And Dombele's coming back with a winner's medal as well.
It's not just that. I mean, over time, he'll be lost in the talk about, because when people talk about players now, it's all about the trophy. So let's look at obviously one of the best strikers in the Premier League, who like the goals he scored and all that, Matt Letizia. Absolutely amazing talent, great goals. This any other one club man and all that, but when you're talking about the best strikers in Premier League of all time, his name gets completely missed time and time again over the years, obviously, because it's a completely different generation. And that's the type of thing you're going to get into if he doesn't win trophies. You hear it now on all social when people are having debates about top strikers in the Premier League era. And Kane's name, people go straight away, well, Kane's down lower, doesn't make it on the list because he hasn't won anything. And that's the thing he is the type of striker, people link him or say he's on the same level as Alan Shearer. Alan Shearer has a Premier League, so people always put him over there. Andy Cole, Dwight York, I think he's much better than, but people always put them over because they've won Premier Leagues and the Champions League and stuff like that. Diego Costa, I think he's better striker than him, but he's won the Premier League. So I'm saying that when you have strikers, I mean, Berbatov's got multiple titles to his name, who obviously was great at Spurs, but nowhere near the same as what Kane has been. But people will instantly go, well, I'm going to put Berbatov over because he's won so many titles. And it's a sad point to get to because Harry Kane is an overall player. He's not just a striker. He's overall player. He's a sensational footballer, but he gets already negative things put against it because he hasn't won anything. If he was to go elsewhere and win 2 Premier Leagues, an FA Cup and a Champions League before, or Like if it went to Real Madrid and won the La Liga and the Champions League before he retired, then people would start going, okay, we can put Harry Kane on. But for me, he is much better than just being top goal scorer, and I think that's why he needs to be able to win trophies before the end of the season.
And it's unfair to say to Harry Kane that all he is a goal, because that's what people will say about him. People will say, "Oh, he's just a goal scorer." Like, and for me, I think Harry Kane's a lot better than that. I think technically he's one of the best players technically I've seen at Tottenham. I mean, I've seen some really.
Harry Kane is an 8, 9, and 10.
Of course, he can play.
He plays 3 positions. He can play. Well, for us, you found that he's played in 3 positions just to help the team out. At the end of the day, I don't think there's any hatred for Harry Kane. I think there's actually respect from the fan base. Everyone appreciates Harry Kane. Harry Kane is world class. Harry Kane can walk into any team in the world. They'd all love to have him. The thing is that the problem that we've got is Harry Kane at the moment is an asset that we have that has a year left, and a decision needs to be made because we don't want to lose him on a free. And at the end of the day, we just the decision needs to be made, but quite sharpish in my point of view, as I said earlier. Just make the decision quite sharpish. If Harry Kane decides that he wants to stay over going to win trophies elsewhere, if Harry Kane makes that decision that he wants to stay, I'll back Harry Kane. If Harry Kane says early on, I want to go to try somewhere else, I will back Harry Kane to leave as well.
So very quickly, sorry, the thing is, I've seen people that want Kane to stay, or think that people are saying about sell him, think like something negative about Kane. It's not. I agree. It's nothing negative towards Kane, but people are arguing the fact that we need Kane to get back into European football and Champions League football and this and the other for this season, so we're going to keep him. But they're looking at it as a hypothetical that things go well. Obviously, you have to look at it from both aspects. If it's a bad season and things don't work under Ange for whatever reason, and it's a bad season, we're 8th or lower and we regress, then Kane hasn't done that. We haven't got back to European football, and he walks away on a free anyway. So it's okay to have that risk that he might, if we get back to European football, we might stay in a year's time. But if it goes wrong, you still lose him on the free for a bad season and all that. And I just don't understand. People, like, if you're dealing in hypotheticals, you have to look at both ways. You can't just go, oh, we look at the positive. You have to take the negative into example as well.
Yeah.
Too much of a risk.
100%.
No, you're right. I just want to repeat as what Ronnie said is if Kane has no ambition, why did he want to go to Man City? No, I think Kane does. But if Kane was so determined to go to Man City, he could have had it in a transfer request, say, I'm not going to play for Tottenham again. But he wanted to be the nice guy. And again, nothing wrong with that. He wanted to be the nice guy. But nice guys finish last.
That's how life works.
What did the likes of Gareth Bale do? Berbatov do? They forced a move. Berbatov said, I'm not going to play for Tottenham again. And we got rid of him and he went to Man United. And look at the season and the career he had at Man United. So nothing against Harry Kane on being the nice guy. That's not what I'm having a go at. But if he was so determined to go to Man City, he should have gone, do you know what? I'm not playing for Tottenham again. I want to go to Man City. And listen, he must sit back now and look at what's happening at Man City and go, I could have been Haaland. I could have been the reason they won the treble. And it's a hard one. And listen, nothing again. Listen, I love Harry Kane. The Harry Kane debate it really does. It polarizes the fan base. But for me, I love Harry Kane. And I have to adamant this. I just don't want him to go. I don't want to see him as I said, in years to come, that he doesn't get the recognition he'll get that he deserves, in my opinion. Because as I said, I think Harry Kane could go down as one of the best players in the world to have not won a single trophy. And I don't want that statistic to be a thing.
But do we know what Harry... Yeah, but I mean, I think it's brilliant talking about players and what we want for them and what we would like for them and how we want them to be seen from our eyes.
Yeah.
But what about what they want for themselves? Yeah. Because, 2 seasons ago, he could have gone to Man City and he could have been today's Haaland or he could have been today's Jack Grealish because that was between them and Jack Grealish. Yep. And they signed Jack Grealish for the 100 million instead of Harry Kane, and whatever went on there and whatever, blah. Okay, so, but what about what Harry Kane wants? I mean, don't we have to take that into consideration as well? Because maybe he is comfortable staying at his club And what if he, because of his family situation, says, right, okay, well, I'm willing to listen to Ange. I haven't sat down with him yet. There's a new project coming. If things are going to change, and if the change is real, and I'm seeing things around the club really change, and from here to 6 months, I can sign a new deal, right? Then so be it. But what does Harry Kane want? I mean, it's okay talking for him or what we want, but what does Harry want?
But I think that's the question. I think we were just sort of saying, because if I think Harry Kane now needs to think about what he wants in his career, and I think if he stays at Tottenham now, I honestly will sit there and go, "What? I love you that you're staying, and I love that, but why? Why are you doing that?" Like,
only he knows that. Only he knows that, though.
Question. I wanted to I'll bring this up to you guys quickly. Alex has asked a question. If we did sell Harry Kane in this window, and I'll put a hypothetical. We sell him for £90 million in this window. That's the hypothetical. Who would you replace him with? Because we need to replace 30 or what? How many? He saw 41 goals last season. We need to replace 41 goals. And how are we going to do it? What way are we going to do it? And I'll put this out. I'll put this out to Abdi. I haven't heard you speak for a bit, so I'll let you jump in. This is the hypothetical. If we sold him, let's just say we sold him tomorrow. He went to Man United for 90 million quid. Who do you replace Harry Kane with?
Honestly, I don't know, because here's another problem with the Harry Kane debacle. Who do you bring in? Because there's a dearth of top-tier strikers that are A, readily available, and B, good enough to replace Harry Kane, and C, willing to join Tottenham.
Yeah. But for me, I think if it was me, I would look at it and go, right, we need a striker. We're not going to get another Harry Kane. I think
spread it around the team.
You're going to have to look at what Arsenal are doing and going, we've got to find a way that we can get the whole attack scoring. Because what Spurs do is Harry Kane scores all the goals and no one else really does. The rest of the attacking players have only scored 13 goals collectively in the league together. Harry Kane scored 30. No, how many did he score?
Yeah.
He did score 30. Son got 10.
He got more. Yeah.
But
Son got 10.
But my point is when you look at Arsenal, the likes of Jesus, Martinelli, Saka, collectively score between 8 and 15 goals, give or take one or up and all that between them. And that way, that's where their goals will come from collectively. So that's my thought process on it, because I think, where would you? I'd like to know, does anyone have any actual thoughts on who you would, or are we just worried if we do?
So for me, there's a couple of, like, if you're going to get 80 to 90 million for him, people, like I saw in a comment there who I'd agree with, Moani, I'd go with him.
Yeah.
Vlahovic is an option as well.
Tony's just not a bad shout. I know he's out for 12 months, but would you have 6 months? Sorry, I think Ivan Toney would be a great shout, because you get him.
True. Like, that's an option. You'd promote Richarlison in the fact like that. If you get Maddison in, Maddison will be able to supply more than what anyone else has been able to do, like at this Spurs team for some time. Like, Harry Kane would have to, like, if Kane had have been in that position and Maddison supplying him for the last 2 seasons, I think he might have even scored more. Vlahovic for me is one of them. Why not go for Thuram as well? I'd go, like, there are options out there. And here's the thing: we as a fan base go, if Kane goes, who will we get? Remember, we've lost big name players before and still survive. Bow's gone, Modric has gone, Berbatov's gone, Robbie Keane's gone. All these players have gone over time, and we've still. So this whole thing of Spurs need to be scared in the closet, crying himself to sleep, doesn't make sense. It makes no sense at all. But in regards to what Chris said a little while ago, Harry Kane said in that Gary Neville interview what he wanted. He wanted to win trophies. He wanted to win stuff and all that when it looked like he was going to Man City. So he wants to win trophies. We know that. Yep. If Postecoglou can't convince him to stay, then he should go. But in regards to what was going to say next, so in regards to that, Kane should go if he's not going to sign and he wants to win trophies. That's fine. But if he's got a choice between Spurs and, say, a Real Madrid coming in for him, and he chooses Spurs, you have to say, I'm sorry, you're more realistic to win trophies with Real Madrid. So then people can start questioning, is he serious about winning trophies? Because Real Madrid are going to win way more before we even attempt to win.
Of course.
That's fair point. Fair point, Aaron, yeah.
I just want to pick this up from John Ellis. Big up to you, mate. You're always in here. But so Percy, the club you love and wanted to play for, and you just off. You ain't a fan. Spurs is flying. John, I hate to break it to you. Footballers don't think like this. Once you become a football player, and a great example, if anyone watches the Fozcast by Ben Foster, it's absolutely brilliant. Because Ben Foster's a Spurs fan. But he says the second you get into football on a professional level, you start losing your team you support. He said, the thing is you end up moving about. Look how many players that we had that went all around. Sol Campbell was a Spurs fan. Look at what happened when he came. He went to the rivals and went and won absolutely everything at Arsenal, and he's vilified at this fan base till this day.
Apart from a European
trophy. But you get my point.
Sol's on Holland.
Exactly. So when we say about being a Spurs fan, trust me, football players do not think like this. They don't think like fans. Look how many Arsenal fans that we've got, the original Arsenal fans. Matt Doherty came to Tottenham. We're about to sign James Maddison. Look at all the stuff he's been tweeting about Tottenham in his past when he was a kid. So it's not sensical to say that because he's a Spurs fan means he wants to stay at this club. Look at the way that his club that he loves has treated him. Let's break that down. And I just wanted to that's kind of what I wanted to say. I've got a few questions though, guys. I wanted to go through because there's a few people that left some questions in, and I'll let you guys in the panel answer them. Big up Dan Lever, who left us earlier, and I had it pinned. I wanted to ask earlier, but the chat was going, so I was like, let's just let the chat do their thing. Do you think we'll move quicker on players because we always seem to be monitoring or have spoken to, whereas have other teams assigned, we move so slow? I'll let you guys answer. Anyone jump in on this one, because I think we were so long with the whole Raya thing that we actually did work quite quickly in getting Vicario over the line. Looks like it's going to get done tomorrow. But what are your guys' thoughts on this? Because at the moment, I think we need to be a bit quicker on defenders more else. But I'll let you guys answer. Anyone jump in?
Yeah, we definitely need to do business quicker. I mean, but then look at it. Let's look at it as a hypothetical, or look at it based on last season. Last season we moved so swiftly, and for me it was the first time I've ever seen Spurs do business to an extent, like get things done. These are the names identified, this ain't ever bringing in, and then it didn't work out for XYZ reason, if you believe obviously all the thing about content and all that. But what I'm saying is you have these people that literally, when we do things correctly or do things quick, it doesn't work out. And when we take too long to identify people, we always end up getting second or third choice because we dilly-dally on offers or getting players in, and then people go 2 or 3 years down the line where they weren't good enough, we made mistakes, this, that, and the other. So I think because we've never done business to a degree where we do things correctly and swiftly, we've got it wrong last season, but I'm all for it. I'm all for us trying to get business done quicker and more effectively if we identify, but look at what they're doing is they're identifying an exact mold of what they want for Postecoglou and what he wants. So I think in regards to this, you're never going to get all your first targets. There will be times where you want somebody and you just get outbid, outmaneuvered, or they just go, sorry, I don't want to come to you and all that. But as long as they are planned, backup plans to that, where you've got an array of people you're looking at, because Spurs have been known for going for after one person, then get knocked back and then panicking at the last day of the window and getting in somebody who we really shouldn't get in or who's not good enough for the club. So I want to be able to see a complete thesis in regards to like, okay, we've identified 3 players, we're talking to all these people, and then we get in like where we can go from here. But I don't want to see any more like we take a month to try and sign someone, then we go, okay, we didn't get him, then who else? And it's like everyone goes quiet, and then deadline day is like a fiasco trying to get somebody in on the cheap.
I think that's the key one. If we get to deadline day and we're still 2 or 3 players short and we're rushing to get stuff done, I don't want to see that. Listen, I know deals take time, and especially at this sort of period, it takes a lot of time because there's obviously negotiations either side. I've got some more questions here. Just I want to sort of rush through them because people put them in earlier, and I'll tick them all off. Big up Juicy over on Twitch. Is he still the Twitch army? The only one in the Twitch army still surviving over there. Big up to you, mate. I hope you're well. What level are Spurs currently at in terms of clubs? Are they a top 6 side? I think this was obviously what we were talking about earlier. Or are they more of an Everton level? What are your thoughts? I think we're higher than Everton, but yeah, go on.
Nah, I can't. Like, I may have some anti-Tottenham bias because I'm a Gooner, but you guys are not a small club by any means. But
they've infiltrated. How have they infiltrated my stream? Nah, I'm going. Right, listen, anyone's welcome on. As long as you're not.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Of course, man. Nah, but on a level though.
I think yesterday I put a question in, Perchy, and I think you answered it. But I didn't get my point across. And my question was, do you think we'll finish higher than the likes of Villa and Brighton next season? And I did answer it. Yeah, you answered it in the sense of you said, yeah, because they're in Europe, X, Y, and Z. Now, my thoughts are on this. I think we'll finish higher than them. I think we'll finish a lot higher than what people think we will. And the reason for that is for the last 4 years, we've played the same football, same. It doesn't matter what manager we had. We played the same football and we were worked out. So people didn't have to do much homework on us. We were worked out.
Oh, very easily.
So people knew that we'd set up this way. We never changed. And we did previous 3 managers in the last 4 years. However, with Mr. Postecoglou, he's going to be brand new to the Premier League.
I think you're right. Oh, is he gone?
I think
no.
Frozen.
I get what he said. I do get what he's saying. If someone jump in on that one, I think I get what you're trying to say. Oh,
I understand.
He's back.
Okay.
Sorry. So I think people have to do a lot more work to try and set up against us next season, because we won't be this.
He's gone again.
It won't be this. We won't be like we were last season. I'm assuming. Oh, he's back. There he is.
Oh, he's gone.
I think you got my point.
I think we got your point. Definitely. No. I think you're right. Where do people think we will finish next season? That's the question I'm gonna throw out to you guys.
In regards to I think
I don't know
prediction on where we're going to finish just yet, because Postecoglou coming in different to the Premier League. I agree with Jose straight away, because we were so easy and predictable, especially without somebody in the middle pulling the strings. It was so hard. We were so slow moving ball side to side. We didn't have that punch straight through like a Maddison or a player of that ilk would be able to do. So we were so readable, and that's why we struggled for so many parts of the game and being so defensive as well. We won't know. I won't be able to make a prediction just yet until I see the type of players coming into the club. Because if we don't get much business done because of X, Y, Z reason, whatever it is, then it will be having players that are not good enough playing a pragmatic way, who weren't good enough playing a good way under Poch at the end of his thing as well, because we've still got quite a few players left over, because obviously that's where problems were. So it's just going to be a bit of an awful season. But if we get business done, we get the deadwood out, then I'll be able to make a clear decision then or prediction there. But we will have, I agree with what some people said, we will have good results, we will have bad results, because I think playing the way Postecoglou plays, we're going to come up against bigger teams who are just going to probably take us apart in the early start.
Agreed.
A couple of games 3 or 4-0. So we have to learn to take the rough with the smooth, not overreact. Obviously, like I said, I will criticise Postecoglou only on his in-game management if I think he makes mistakes, because people can be criticised. But in the overall thing of having him implement his thing into the players that are coming in, and also the players that maybe have been forgotten, who play better under his system than what the deadwood we've got in the squad under Conte was. It's a load of different metrics that you can use. So at the moment, I'm not going to guess or make a prediction, but I think it's not going to, people were saying, oh, we're going to be doomed, we're going to be lower table. I don't think that at all. I think we'll be around the same area we are now, but as soon as a clearer picture comes to light, then I'll be happy to make a prediction, but I think it's too soon.
Yeah. Too soon. No, I think that's fair. Is anyone else? Hang on, quick, because I've got loads. I was going to say.
I agree. I agree with Alan. It's too early to say.
100%. Can I add in 2 more factors?
Yeah, sure.
Alan, you made some really good points, but I think there are 2 things that you missed. The first one is Tottenham are going to obviously try and strengthen, but so is everyone else. Newcastle haven't remained still. City are going to sign someone. United are going to bring in some bodies, and so will Chelsea, Arsenal, and Liverpool. And are Tottenham going to finish above any of them? Not really, no.
So
no, I don't.
But we don't know that.
I need to come back to that. So when I say about Spurs finishing there or higher, does finishing 7th or 6th mean we're going to go past you guys? No, because that's how far we'd fallen off. So that's what I mean by improvement. Also, you're coming at it with all these teams have gone improving all that, but I'm sorry, there are teams that improve that go backwards too. That's why I'm saying you
look
can't.
At the likes of Brighton. The likes of Brighton and Villa are going to be in Europe. So
exactly,
I will see that those teams will use that as the springboard. Is what I've always said. Like they'll use it as they'll try and push on that. That's the difference. But so I think you will see us there will be improvement on position. For me, it's all about points. I think we need to massively improve on the points that we got last season. I always say, whenever we talk about positions, I think people really get improvement realistically is only done on points. You can't use it on position because some teams do amazing. You could be on 80 points and finish third, but you finished on 70 points in your season before and finished second. Realistically, so for me, it's about point score. So we need to score a lot more points than we did last season. Not good. It wasn't good enough. So this was the other question. Percy, I heard you have a poster of Harry Kane above your bed. Is that look at when you go to sleep?
Yeah, he does. I've seen it.
It's not true. I don't. You're just making stuff up.
True, it's huge.
Very funny.
There's lights going onto it and everything like that.
It's just I love Harry Kane so much. Trust me, it's so good. Another one for you, mate. Percy, would you take Eden Hazard on a short-term deal? No. I think everyone's going to say no on that one.
No,
it just doesn't fit what we need at this football club. We need hard workers.
I mean, the good thing about Eden Hazard is that he takes up 3 positions all at the same time. So, I mean, it could be 3 for the price of 1.
Yeah, but really, no. I mean, let's be honest.
It's talking about his waistline or
Eden
the
Hazard
position.
has all the hallmarks of going to Saudi Arabia sort of deal. Let's be honest. I think it wouldn't be shocked he ends up there. So,
soak up the sun.
No. Simple answer, don't want that one. Proud of George said, question, whose idea was to paint Alan's wall in a mustard colour? Alan, whose idea was it to paint your wall in mustard?
No.
And I was ready for it. I love Proud to be Geordie. Thank you, Andrew, for that comment and all that. Regular to my channel, how dare you? So this wall, I've moved into a new house in March. This wall here, we're having taken out, so it's not going to be redecorated. So that will go. So I'm not going to redecorate for a couple of months until that goes. So that's why it's mustard, because it was previous, and it's going to be going anyway. So you're welcome. I didn't choose mustard as my own colour. Yeah. I would have chosen something different. Thank you, Proud to be a Geordie.
Unbelievable. Absolute shambles of a colour. Look at it. It's grim.
It is what it is until it goes.
Here's a question. DJ Green Alert, big up to you, mate. Being in the chat, very lively in the chat. I hope you're well, mate. With all the talks this morning about Ange wanting to bring Carter Vickers back, do you support if it happens? Do you support it if it happens?
No. There's other possibilities that are better.
Do you know what? It's a weird one. It's a weird one. I'm not going to sit there and say I back it because I thought he was at Spurs and didn't do great. Is he better than what we've got? I mean, that's not difficult. I mean, it's not difficult, is it? Let's be honest. No, of what I've seen of him at Spurs. I mean, but that's me judging on what Spurs. I don't know what happened at Celtic enough.
If I'm being honest, I think people, just because he's worked under Postecoglou in Scotland, I think people are getting a false, like, he's not at that level. He can't play in the Premier League from everything I remember seeing of him, obviously, when he was younger. You know, he just never had that ability to kick on to the next level. I don't think he's right for the Premier League. I think he's not good enough for it. So I wouldn't take him back, but it doesn't mean that he's not done well for himself in Scotland. You know, but people go, but let's be honest, the Scottish League to the Premier League is a completely different league. But for those that are just going, because he worked under Postecoglou, he's going to work everywhere they go. No, I don't think it. For me, no, thank you. I don't want Carter Vickers back to Spurs.
I think that's...
not all players that have played under Postecoglou have the level for the Premier League. Would you take other players that have been at Celtic? Of course, you'd take Kyogo and you would take Hatate in a heartbeat, but Carter Vickers, no. No.
You were as bad as TalkSport, Sky Sports, always trying to sell Harry Kane.
You are, though.
I haven't tried to stop that because that's what I haven't tried to sell Harry Kane. I love Harry Kane at this football club. It's obviously a talking point, Eddie. do you not want us to talk about Harry Kane? He's got 1 year left on his contract. It's a talking point. He's the best player at the football club. Come on.
Yeah, you have to talk about it.
You're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't.
If I don't say anything, people go, "Why are you not talking about him?" But I'm just trying to have a debate. We have to talk about it because it's a player with 1 year left on his contract that is massively better than what we've got at this football club at the moment.
Haven't you heard, Perchy? You can't talk about what you want on your own show.
Yeah.
Oh no! Yeah, no, it's true. I'm dictated on what I'm meant to say.
One more thing. You can't have an opinion that goes against the narrative.
But that's the thing. It's like we're not. All this talk of letting Kane down. Don't forget he was part of the team. Yes, of course. I don't think this is what I think people scoop up stuff when you start talking about it, and then you get this massive debate about. Oh well, we're talking about that he didn't turn up in finals and semis, but
the only reason he got there in the first place.
But let's look at this. But let's look at it this way. Okay, if you're going to say about like Harry Kane didn't show up like in semi-finals, finals, like let's look at some of the reasons as well why we did. Because in regards to that Champions League run, we got to the final. Pochettino made the fatal error of putting Kane in who weren't ready in that Champions League final. But people won't have the conversation with Poch because obviously he was like our best manager. Pochettino should never have played Kane from the start. He was never ready. He was never fit. You saw that in that final. I would have gone and had him as an option to bring him on at the end. I think Pochettino made an error in that. And yet he has had finals and semi-finals that he hasn't performed. I completely agree. He's got to be held accountable for his own mistakes. But then also, people go, Harry Kane hasn't shown up in finals. But then if you look at the finals we've been in that we've lost, most of that team haven't shown up. So it's not just Kane, it's the team, it's the manager, and it's Harry Kane. They've all got a point to...
that's true, Alan.
Of course, it's not as subjective as just one thing. And John, we said, let's sell Harry Kane and trust the money with Levy. But he's leaving on a free. So would you rather... When you say trust Levy, but it's not as simple as that. Like, I feel like we're so narrow-minded when we talk about things like this. Trusting Daniel Levy with the money. I'd rather at least give it a go with some money than get nothing. I think that's the debate.
But that does come from so many years.
Of course, it comes from so long of hurt. Yeah, I agree.
It is, yeah. And we have to trust the process now that things are looking like they're changing slowly but surely. And we just have to give it a go. I mean, if you don't do anything, you're stuck in the same place.
So can I just quickly say, the thing that obviously I don't get is like there's people out there saying, no, don't sell Harry Kane because you can't replace Harry Kane. But they're the same people are saying, oh, the new data-driven model, we're getting all the right people, we're doing all the right things. So why would you not sell Harry Kane at a time where we're signing the right people, where you've got the money to invest in the right people coming into the squad to make the squad better? I don't get it. You're arguing you're arguing against yourself in the way you're going about talking about this whole thing. Makes no sense. Makes no sense at all.
No, and this about there's a word there that people don't get, and it's replacing. You can't replace Harry Kane. You can't replace Messi. You can't replace Cristiano. It's using the money, right, to improve and to make the team more efficient. Okay, so if you can't replace like for like, okay, because you can't replace like for like players. You see, so what would you do with 90 million, 80 million, whatever the millions are for Kane? Well, then you'd go out and buy 3 players or 2 players or whatever players you need so that the team improves, so that you get the results. So you don't have one player scoring 30 goals every season. You have 2 or 3 players in that front line or in the mid that can create spaces so that other players can score and that are high caliber. But you don't go out and replace Harry Kane for the sake of replacing Harry Kane because you can't do that. I mean, it's just not possible. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, that's my opinion anyway. It's just silly.
No, I think right. We've got a couple more questions. Big up Simon Davis, who's put this one in. Here's the scenario, guys. If Kane stays this summer and England go and win the Euro 24, does he stay? He'll have his trophy, and would that have an impact? So, do you know what, Simon? It's absolutely. I think that's a great question. If Harry Kane won something with England, would he stay at Tottenham? Because he would have had that trophy.
Yeah.
I'm being devil's advocate for a second, because would that keep him at Tottenham, or do you think the Tottenham bridge is now burnt properly now?
For me, look, I'll be honest. We ain't winning anything with England. We had the chance in the Euros against Italy, And Gareth Southgate done the same thing he did against Croatia in the tournament before, where we went 1-0 up and sat back. It's done the same with Italy. Italy were there for the taking in that final.
I can't believe we didn't win that final.
And literally, so for me, as long as Southgate's in there, if we get into another situation like that, we're not going to win a trophy. That's just me being like from what I've seen previously.
Yeah.
So I don't think we're going to win that. And even if it was to win that, people would still find a stick to beat. And we're going, okay, you won that, but you couldn't win anything, domestically. So it's always going to be that. There's always going to be a caveat to the point or to the argument. So yeah, I don't think that.
Koff's right. I think Koff's got a key one here.
Yeah. I just think it'll be one of them things where it doesn't matter. Like he has to win stuff domestically. He has to win a trophy like a Premier League or a La Liga and a Champions League or a European trophy or a couple. I think even one trophy and people still not take him as seriously as others. But yeah, for me, I don't think Kane will win the European trophy with England.
I don't know. I don't think it was if England win it and stuff. I don't. It's not. I think the question was if he won that, would it keep Kane at Spurs?
It's a crystal ball. It's a crystal ball question. That's a year away.
Yeah.
Kane needs to be sorted out in the next couple of weeks.
Agreed.
Worst case scenario, in the winter transfer window, decision either gets made in the next couple of weeks or the winter transfer window. We can't wait till the end of next season. So also, it's a hypothetical question.
Also, by the time that tournament comes around, Kane would have left anyway because he would be thing like that. So he would be gone
he'd be
anyway.
out of contract, wouldn't he? Yeah.
So he'd be gone anyway.
I've got a question. Can I just for a second?
Yeah, go
about winning trophies, right? Do you think it would mean more the uphill struggle at winning a trophy at Spurs, like being Spurs, what it means to Kane so much, or do you think it would be exactly the same if he won it at a Real Madrid or a Man City, or does it make absolutely no difference? It's just for the winning for the sake of winning a trophy.
I don't think it'd be more.
Chris, I think you're right. But I think we're now at a stage where that ship sailed. I think Kane, that's the reason why he stayed so long, is in his mind it was, I want to win something at Tottenham. Do you know what? I bet he must look at Declan Rice and go, that should have been my career. Not exactly polar opposite in the sense that Declan Rice has gone and won a European trophy with his boyhood club, and now he's going to go and leave and be much more successful elsewhere. I think Kane probably must look at that and go, I kind of wish it was like that. The amount of times we could have won we got to a final of a European trophy, and then we didn't really take any opportunities in the sort of lesser ones, in air quotes. But I do think it's similar. I think that's why Kane's been here for so long.
Yeah, probably.
I think. I'll put another question. I'll big up Phil Coys. Hope you're doing well, mate. Perching the panel. What would concise as a great window for you? And I'm assuming that's individually. So I'll ask you guys around and stuff. We'll start with Jose for a second, mate. What would be a great window for me? A great window for Tottenham right now.
A great window for me would be moving out Deadwood that we've got. If we could ship out, and I don't care. Well, the money will always dictate, but ripping up contracts, taking fees for people. If we could ship out 10 players. Bring in.
You think we can get rid of 10 players?
No, you're buying them. For my ideal would be to ship out. 10
players.
It's asking what my ideal is. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but my ideal would be ripping up contracts, selling players, and taking peanuts for them, whatever. Get rid of 10 players. Bring in, if we sign the goalkeeper and another 5 players.
Yeah.
And we sort out the Kane scenario.
That's
either way.
I think that's a good point. It's sorting out it either way it goes. Chris, I'll come to you next, mate. What are your thoughts on Spurs' best? What would you consider a great window for you?
Ship out the deadwood, bring in the new wood. I mean, it's as simple as that.
Yeah.
If you can bolster the midfield, you bolster the defence. The attack seems to be more or less, and if you can settle the doubters about the Kane situation, which could be as soon as what was Jose saying, third, fourth, something like that, with a chat between Harry and Ange.
Yep.
Fine. I mean, you can't really do much now, so it's all speculation. But that would be fine. Bolster the midfield, definitely bolster the defence because the midfield isn't as bad as the defence. And that's it. I mean, that would be fine. Then you're playing FIFA or Football Manager, saying who you want, who you don't. Be unrealistic. It doesn't work. So just let them do their job.
Yeah, no, I agree. Alan, I'll come to you next.
So for me, a successful window is to get at least a goalkeeper, 2 centre-backs, and the centre attacking midfielder sorted. That way you cover the problem in defence, the goalkeeper, and obviously having somebody that can do do what Harry Kane's been doing so that he can focus on what he does best. They would be the areas. You need to clear out some of this dead wood. I want to see at least 3 or 4 players gone in the same window. It's not all going to happen in one. So, for me, that is an area where you need to get sorted. So 4 in, at least 4 in, at least 4 out. And obviously, a resolution to the Harry Kane thing, whether he is one of the people we make money on, or to get money for, or whether he agrees and stays. I don't want any of this he's going to see out the last year of his contract, see how he feels. No, for me, you either get rid of him or you get him to sign a new contract, in regards, and people say get rid of, you can't get rid of Harry Kane. I mean, the fact that where you get money for him, and then if that is the case, that's when you have to have a plan in place to get somebody in to cover, to replace or be a striker. Because if it's not going to be Richarlison, or Richarlison's not the guy, you need to bring somebody in.
Yeah,
so that would be.
I can't disagree. Abdi, I'll come to you because you're an Arsenal fan. So it's going to be a bit hard to sort of ask you on this one. But if you were looking at it from the outside in and gone, where would you go? A good window for Spurs is.
God, a good window for Spurs would be fixing your creativity and building a solid base.
I think that's a nail. I think that's kind of what I think we were just saying, and what Alan was mentioning. Because for me, it's a great window is 2 or 3 defense centre halves in, and then get rid of 2 or 3. For me, I think we have to look at it and go, you're getting one in air quotes big centre half that goes, he's a starter, and you get 2 that are going to be good enough, young enough, hungry enough to fight for it and get into that. That means you can offload the likes of Dyer, Sanchez, Davis, Tanganga, whoever it is of the 3. Keep hold of one, then keep going, and then build it. I think James Maddison's crucial in getting a bit of creativity into our midfield. I think we also need another midfielder, if I'm perfectly honest. I think if it was me, I'd offload Højbjerg and get in someone else, maybe like a Rio Hatate from Celtic. And I think we move a little bit further forward down. And the other key one is the Harry Kane situation, making sure we have a understanding on what the situation is there.
When I looked at the other day, I was looking at our squad for last season, right? And our squad of 25 players for the Premier League, and included in that was 4 goalkeepers. So let's say, for the argument's sake, I'll take 3 goalkeepers out. That brings us down to 22. Lucas Moura has left the club, and the 2 loanees. One loanee's gone back. That brings us down.
Both have. Long Lane and Dumont.
2 loanees gone back. That drops us down to 19, right?
Yep.
And we've got 11 coming back in. That takes us up to 30. So when we say if we lose 4 players and bring 4 players in, we'll have a squad of 30 again. That's why I'm saying that a great window for me would be to get rid of a third of the squad, 10 players. Because
then you bring, I agree.
Players in.
No, I think Jose, you're absolutely bang on with that, because we need to register these players if we're going to keep them or not. And the problem is half of them aren't going to be able to if the one's coming back. I think that's the key problem. I think we have to go, do you know what? This is our team. This is going to be our 11. This is going to be our squad for the year. And all these lot, we're going to just find a way to get them out of the club. I think we've got so much deadwood. But yeah,
the names trip off your tongue. I mean, if we went round, Abdi, the Tottenham supporters on here, and we said, who would we like to see leave the club, free or rip up contracts? We're already naming 4 defenders.
Yeah,
at least.
I think you're right. I could name 10 players.
In midfield, people are now talking about Højbjerg and Winks. So that's 6 players already. Yeah. You see what I mean? So to me, the most important part is of the transfer window for me is it's getting rid of the deadwood.
Agreed. No, but I think this is also Jose. You absolutely bang on. Actually, what I was going to say was because for me, the key one for me was this is why I said this season, realistically, there should be no targets and no goals. For me, and the only target is not to get us relegated, which I don't think we will. So we'll be okay. Now, Abdi's laughing, but my point, what I'm trying to make, mate, because my point is that I don't think there should be a target this season. Because for me, it's about getting rid of the bad players, the dead wood of this club, and starting again. If we have to play the likes of Divine, even if we have to start playing the likes of Divine, Sarr into more games, start playing these younger lads if we have to. Yes, we might go and get battered by Man City. We might go and get battered by Arsenal. But we have to look at the bigger picture here and go, we need to start again. Rip it up and go again. If we have to go and rip up contracts like Ndombele, Lo Celso, Dyer, Davis, Sanchez, we start ripping up these contracts. I've got no problem with that. It's about moving forward, and I think that's the key one. We're going to go on for another half an hour, guys. I just want to do a bit of a push. We need 36 more subscribers, guys, to hit the 1,000. So please, massive shout out. If you're in here and you haven't subscribed, please do so. When we hit the 1,000, I will release the video about the charity stream. When that's going to be set up for. It's already in the pie works. I can't wait to do it. Obviously, these amazing people here will be welcome on, of course, when we do the 24-hour charity stream and stuff. So there is a real reason why I'm pushing it and I want it to go this channel. There's 148 of you in here. If you haven't, please subscribe. And also go and subscribe to these guys as well. They've all got their channels. Abdi, I'm not sure if you've got a channel. If you do, let me know and I'll send it.
Not really.
So these three, the Spurs guys, have all got channels. So go over there, guys. Ben, I know you're in the chat. So can you hit whack their links in? I know you've been doing it sporadically anyway. Much love to you. And yeah, let's just push these guys up on their numbers. Let them get to targets they want to reach. And we're at 80 likes, guys. Come on, there's 152 of you in here. Let's get this over 100 likes before the end of the stream. That will be amazing. Much love, guys. And yeah, thank you very much. Obviously, much love for everyone that has subscribed. It's been, a crazy 3 months since I started this. And we're nearly at the 1K. So it means genuinely the world. So please, if you haven't, please do so.
Well done, Perchy.
No, thank you. Listen, it's all part of I do enjoy it. I love the chenwag.
I must admit, guys, this morning I've not looked at anything at all. I've just come onto this stream, but I've just looked at Rooty Toots at 11:32.
Yeah.
If that's the case, that's really, really positive news. If that is the case.
Big up Rooty Toot. Yeah, always a real one of them. Morning all. Some good news coming out this morning. Vicario on his way to the medical. Yep, I saw that this morning. Signing of Tapsoba 20. If we get Tapsoba for 25 million quid and add your bio, I'll be honest, I'm happy with that. I think some people were very uninspired by the likes of Tosin Adubai, but I looked at him and when he did play, I went, he's a unit. He looks like a unit in the defence and he'll be good. And yeah, and if we get James Maddison, that's a great start to the window. That would be massive. Much love to you, mate. I hope you're well. Always the real one in the chat.
Seems quite low. Seems quite low, that, though, 25 million for Tapsoba.
Well,
very low.
There might be we're doing some
add-ons
things and some sort of add-on thing. But yeah, if that happens, that's great in my opinion.
Unless that's an initial 25 and the add-ons come on top.
Maybe, yeah, it could be something on that sort.
Yeah, it could, but that seems very low for a player that was valued at 50 million all around. Social media. What was that?
I just checked the link, and it's a report from the Daily Star. So I'm going to hold off and I'm going to wait until.
Fact check it. Alan's fact checking.
I mean, if that's entry level 25 without add-ons, I mean, I'm not going to knock it, but 25 for Tapsoba. I mean, anyone could come in and say, look, we'll pay you 35 because 10 million is not that much on top of 25, and we'll just take it off Spurs' hands. I mean, that's just a no-brainer. But 25 seems a hell of, very, very low.
I think if we get this lad over the line, it will be in the region of about 40 million quid, is my opinion. That's my personal opinion.
At least.
Seeing we've got Abdi on, Perchy, don't want to take over, but there's a message that one Delwitz at 11:34. There's a question there for Abdi.
Abdi, you got 134.
11:34. One Dulwich.
Yeah, I saw it. No, I'm not particularly happy with Arsenal's window. I'm not particularly happy with it because we knew West Ham's valuation for Declan Rice 6 months ago. So why go for 2 bids that were lower than what they wanted?
Yeah, no, I think that's. I think Arsenal. The problem Arsenal have got at the moment is you've got your two starters last season that look like they're on their way out, and it looks like.
Can I take this one?
Declan Rice in, you're going to try and get Lavia in. I think that's not a bad swap in a sense of it. You don't think Lavia is a good signing?
It's not that he's not good. It's just I have a few questions because he's clearly got some talent. Is he ready for Arsenal? Because Championship to Champions League, because he's going to the Championship as Southampton got relegated.
He was in the Premier League, though, mate.
He was in the Premier League, and I'm pretty sure he scored you guys in the Emirates towards the end of the season in that 3-3 draw. Did he not?
Yeah, he did.
Have a bit of respect. Come on, have a bit of respect.
His team's gone to the Championship now.
I think, and do you know what? There's one thing about with Lavia that makes sense. When I say this on my channel all the time, when signings just make sense. Lavia to Arsenal makes sense because of so many different reasons. Lavia fills a void of the Caicedo deal that they wanted to get. It may not be as good as a Caicedo, but I think he's as good. He's protracted to be as good as him. But what is one thing that Lavia's done that connects him to Arsenal? There's one big connection. Mikel Arteta.
Yeah, Man City.
Managed him at Man City. So for me, it's a no. I always say that, signings are no. When signings just make sense, this signing makes sense. 40, 50 million quid or whatever the price tag is, that's a good deal. That's half the price of a Caicedo that you would have wanted to get. You're going to bring in Declan Rice next to him. So you've got a young but a very experienced player next to him who collectively can grow that. I think, and I hate this, I'm bigging up an Arsenal sign, but people making the likes of Lavia, I sit there and go, what do you want? Who would you have over him?
I mean they're not. That's not spending. That's called investment.
Of course, exactly. That's the key one here.
Yeah.
I wonder what. I think fans look so far past their nose that they don't see what that is. I think when people just slag off because we got relegated. Well, that's such a lazy argument. What did Man City do with it? What did Man City do with a relegated Bournemouth?
They took Ake.
They took Nathan Ake. And what did Pep Guardiola do? Turn him to probably one of the best left backs in the league this season.
I mean, Madison's got relegated, and Man United and Tottenham are looking at him. So that says something about that.
That's exactly my argument.
That's exactly what you've counterpointed with, criticised with Lavia. He's a championship. He's not a championship player. He's a professional. He's a Premier League player.
I said that's where he was going. I never said he was a championship level player.
You did.
I'm not saying you said he was a championship player.
Yeah.
So I thought he was going to the championship or something like that.
Oh, no.
Well, it doesn't matter, but he's Premiership player. It's okay.
Yeah, I think you've genuinely got a. I think if you sign him, I think it's genuine. I'll be honest. I genuinely think that's a good signing. I think it's very.
I have no idea how good he is, but I'm happy to give him a chance.
I'd have Lavia. I'd have Lavia at Spurs.
I would get rid of Højbjerg and bring in Lavia 100%.
Definitely.
Imagine having Basuma, Lavia, and like a Bentancur or a Lavia, Basuma, Maddison 3. It's such a dynamic midfield. Lavia plays your 6. It allows Basuma to play as your box to box, and then it also allows Maddison or someone to play a bit further up the pitch. So great. I think it's a great dynamic if we've got him. I'd love him at Spurs. I'll be honest.
Yeah. I'm gonna wait and see. I'm gonna wait and see with Lavia, like how good he is and how well he transitions to Arsenal. So I'll hold my breath on him. But with Caicedo, if we're gonna go back to him,
yeah,
Brighton wanted 70 million in January. Why didn't we pay? I mean, he was good enough to jump in now, and we would have been able to get Rice in the summer. So we'd have been able to have both, and then sell Xhaka and then rotate with Partey.
I think there was. I think
Brighton didn't let him go.
Well, Brighton didn't let him go, but they wanted what the money that they're getting. They want now. But what Brighton are doing is they're just saying, "Well, we'll sit and wait for you. You're going to pay the money, aren't you?" And the thing is especially when you've got Chelsea there, they're going, "Well, we'll sit and wait." Chelsea want him, and they know what Chelsea are like. They'll go and put 120 million pound on him on the table for him. And Chelsea will buy him. That's what Chelsea do. And that's the thing is Arsenal unfortunately will sit there and they can't battle when it comes to Chelsea, regardless of where both teams finish. Chelsea will always monopolise it in the London teams. I said it about Spurs. Spurs fans sit there and go, "Oh well, we finished above Chelsea." Blah blah blah. Chelsea spend proper money on proper players. People go, "Oh, it was a disaster last season." They bought a load of young players that they're probably going to finish above us this season with our ex-manager. So
it's all flat slap in the face.
Is what it is. I'll be honest. I'm not as.
There's a player talking about Brighton. Sorry, Alan. I don't know whether you remember Johnny the other day, or a few days ago. I mentioned Kudus. Yeah. That would be something interesting. Kudus apparently has been looked at. Brighton are looking at Kudus to sign.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
okay.
I would have Kudus. Here's the one. I'd have Kudus over Maddison. If we went in for Kudus, I'd have him.
Wow.
And they're two different players, but
they are. They're they're slightly different. But I tell you what, this young lad is going to be a proper player. By the way, I don't try and put guarantees on things, but I've seen him play for Ajax and gone, this lad is better than this level. The fact that only Brighton are going for him, another one. It's another one that if I was Arsenal, you're going to go and buy. But not. I would
Jesus Christ.
No, Kudus is top. No. I mean, he's class.
I think he's.
How much are Ajax going to? Wait, I don't know much about the Kudus to Brighton news. How much are Ajax going to charge? Like
I don't know
I don't know too much. I know Romano tweeted it the other day, didn't he? And
I didn't see it off Romano. I saw it from another source, but Kudus, they're looking. Brighton are looking at. And are you surprised? Because I mean, with the money that they're going to get off Caicedo and obviously McAllister, right? They've obviously brought in Daoud from Germany. They bought in Milner. I think that's on a free or something like that. They've got money in bucket loads, right? So they can obviously go out and pay 30, 40 million, even 20, whatever, for Kudus, because he's got 20 something. He's pretty young. So I mean, it's using your head to buy players, and it just makes sense.
Yeah,
it just makes sense.
No, I just think. I mean, sorry. Yeah, jump in, Abdi, mate.
One thing that I've had a real issue with Arsenal fans is last year we were complaining about a thin squad. Okay, then say we get Rice and Lavia, and then we start partying Xhaka. It's still 2 out and 2 in. So
yeah, that's a fair point. That is that's a very good point. The problem is your squad players are still the likes of El Nene and who's the other fella?
I'm holding. The bargain basement there.
Yeah, no, I think you got a good point there. I think you're the one thing I think, and it's probably one of the points why you didn't win the league. I'll be honest, your squad, yes, and I put a lot of comparison to when Spurs were in the title. Our
it's painful but true.
Our first team was amazing, but our squad was so weak after that. We had that dynamism of Walker, Rose.
Moussa Dembele,
Jan Vertonghen, Moussa Dembele,
Christian
Eriksen. You started out, Dele Alli was in that team. Dynamism. But then you looked a little further down and went, there's not much there, is there? But there wasn't, because it was the likes of Clinton NG and Nkudu and stuff like that. And
Janssen.
Jeez. Who?
He had Vincent Janssen up there as well.
Janssen was just a bit before. No. Was Janssen before that? Or
26. Yeah, he was there, 2017.
Yeah, Janssen was still at Wire Lane. Yeah, no. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, Janssen was there. He was still at Wire Lane. Honestly, I tried to forget that part of him. He was awful. He came across. Everyone thought he was going to be a world beater, and then he was just useless. But
because he did good in Netherlands. So yeah. Had to sign
that's what I mean. Well, we've done that with several players that were good in the Netherlands and then didn't really turn up. But then some that did work. So each to the road. Well, we're going to go for another 15 more minutes. It's an hour and 40.
Can I ask you a question to all the Tottenham fans here?
Oh, that'll be good. There's a lot of us here. Go on. There's a lot in the chat. You can ask the chat as well. There's 144.
Does Pochettino qualify as a Tottenham legend?
A Tottenham legend? What, legendary manager?
Yeah.
No. Who? Sorry, no. I'm sorry. Who? If anyone says that, in the chat, do you people think that Pochettino is a Tottenham legend? In the chats, I'd love to know what people saw. If for me, if he's called a Tottenham legend, then
Ramos get a statue at the stadium.
I think the bar for being a legend is really low, personally.
Yeah, no, he's not a legend. He was a great manager for us, but he's not a legend. Nowhere near a legend for Spurs.
We got no
legends are few and far between.
Loves music. Is he though? Based on what? He didn't win anything.
He made you guys semi-relevant.
Yeah,
which is an achievement.
Bill Nick's a proper legend. Proper legend. No,
161.
Stuart's got the best answer. Poch gave us moments.
Yeah, Poch gave us moments. Agreed. Yeah, exactly. Legend is strong. Exactly. He gave us good moments. Poch did, but he didn't win us anything. I think that's the key part. I think he didn't get over the line yet. No, you have to win it. Exactly. I think you have to win stuff. I mean, I don't think you just have to win stuff because I wouldn't put one day Ramos a legend.
But yeah, no, exactly. And is Brendan Rodgers a legend at Leicester?
Yeah,
I mean,
Cult hero, but not legend.
Yeah, cult hero might be a shout because
there you go.
But the question, he could have been a legend at this club, and I think for me, even still, I think even if he'd gone one side, I think there would have been a lot of questions because he'd gone to Chelsea. I think that would have been a bit of a diminishing thing. But
and also, he left your squad as a burnt out wreck.
Yeah, but the thing is, I don't blame him for why he left. He had every right to go, in my opinion, at the time. I think when he was. He didn't
leave. He didn't leave, though, did he?
Didn't he? And it just didn't. It didn't materialize. And I understood it. I understood his frustrations. I definitely got it. Another one from Delowitz, who loves you, by the way, Abdi. I'll let you listen. Where do you see Havertz fitting in? What position realistically?
Yeah, God. Can I pretend that this hasn't happened?
It doesn't. It doesn't make sense for this team. I don't get the signing. I don't
either.
Like people say, he's not going to play in the 10 role up top because of Jesus. He's not a holding player like obviously Partey or Xhaka. People link back to obviously Dortmund where he was like box to box. But the way you play, he's not going to fit in that system at the moment. The system you've got, it makes no sense. I don't get.
And 65 million quid. It
makes if he's going to play as an attacker, then 65 million to downgrade on Nketiah. How the hell do we do that?
I wouldn't say. Whoa! I wouldn't say it's a downgrade on Nketiah. I mean, I think he's awful. He's on $100,000 a week. That lad. Sorry, now I think Havertz is better than him, but he's not a lot better.
But could it be that to change the way that they play?
Yes.
Yes.
I mean, because the thing is, Arsenal have been found out. Arsenal have been found out. You can't play the same way, the same, like from one season to another, right? You have to change things up. You have to mix it up. And could he be a false nine? Could be a false nine.
He's a false footballer. He's not. What about a false nine?
Yeah, all right, come on. All right, they're professional footballers, right?
I thought it is Havertz, but I can't see it.
Leverkusen, he was a top player. That's why Barcelona were after him. That's why the top teams were after him. That's why Chelsea got him. He was all right with Tuchel, right? Come on, let's be honest. False footballers. Come on, Usain Bolt is a false footballer, right? But you know, let's be honest, right? Tuchel, Havertz could actually do a good job for Arsenal. Okay, and that's from
where those.
I think he can, but I think that's going to be the key one for me. And this is what I said on my stream about this before and on my videos about transfer and stuff. I said, yes, Havertz to Arsenal can be a good deal, could be a good deal. If the problem I feel, when you're spending that sort of money, when you're spending north of £60 million for a player, you want to know what his best position is, right? I think that's a fair comment.
I think
Chelsea fans have had that debate for years, so I don't want to see that with our fan base.
No, but that's the fan base. The fan base are clueless half the time anyway. All right.
Yeah.
So, but okay, that's fair enough. That's not a criticism. That's everyone wants to see so and so play here because I can't play on the wing. You have to play in the middle, and he can't play. This, that, and the other. He has to play here. But who are we to say that? We're not professionals. Okay. Some people have more idea because they've played the game or they've been in contact with people who know the game. or right. And I'm not going to big myself up here, but I know a bit. But and I've been in contact with professional players and that, but I'm not an expert and I'm not a professional. Okay, but you have to see it from their perspective. Now, obviously, they're not just going to say, "Oh, here, look, I've just found a bucket with 65 million pound in. Let's go and buy Havertz because there's no one else there to buy." You know, I mean, that's just stupid, right? So obviously, they've seen something in Havertz. They think that he can do the job, and that maybe last season they were missing someone like him. It's not a knee-jerk reaction from Arsenal, and I'm sure that they're going to do. Do you know what I mean?
No, I think you got a fair point.
Why would Guardiola go and buy Kovacic? Why? He's 30 years old.
Strengthens their midfield. That's a direct replacement for Ilkay Gundogan straight away.
But they're not exactly the same because Kovacic is more
the same. But they do. Yeah, it allows them more depth in midfield when they've just
exactly.
And
it weakens the rival.
Yeah.
No, but that shows me that perhaps next season they're not exactly going to play the same way, right? Because Gundogan is maybe 2 or 3 players in one, right? He's an organizer, right? He can defend, he can get into goal, he can score you goals. Kovacic isn't like that, so it's a direct replacement, perhaps in midfield, but they're not the same player.
Yeah.
So unless they're going to sign someone else, if it's a direct 1-for-1 swap, they're not going to play the same because they can't.
Yeah.
So,
no, I do get what you're trying to get at. I do get your point, Chris. I just think I think Kovacic to Man City. I think that might go down as one of the best bit of business in this window.
But my point is they haven't signed him because they feel sorry for him or because they've got 30 million.
No, of course, no.
Do you know what I mean?
Pep Guardiola doesn't buy people on feelings. He buys
exactly. So Arsenal haven't. Yeah, so Arsenal haven't bought Havertz because they just want to do one over Chelsea.
No. I'm not. You
know what I mean?
That. I mean, no. You're right. For me, it'll be interesting to see what position he does end up playing, where he fits.
Yeah.
For me, I think what he might be used is a bit of a utility player, where they bring him in. Yes, it's a bit of expensive, and everyone go, "Oh, you paid 60 odd million quid for a player on the bench," but a player that can play 8, 9, 10, 11, 10. Do you know what I mean? He can play all across in that sort of attacking thing in all different positions. And they go, do you know what? 20 minutes to go. Jesus is having a bit of a poor game. We're going to bring him on. Or
vice versa.
Odegaard's had a poor game. We're going to bring Havertz on. Do you know what I mean? What it does is it offers a bit of...
He's versatile.
Versatility off the bench. And listen, I'm not one of those that sits there and talks about versatility all the time. I'm just like, I think it's used quite a lot. But I do say... It is a bit of a buzzword in football at the moment, but I do say it in the context of off the bench, though, it's helpful. Not maybe starting, but off the bench, it's helpful. Because you go, do you know what? I've got someone that may not be a starter for me, but I know he's capable of playing out wide, down the middle, number 10, or as a striker. And you go, do you know what? We've got a mix up there. I don't think he starts, personally. I can't, unless they have a position for him, but I will be interested to see how that goes.
Yeah. I think they've done well. And that's a direct rival. But we're talking about football, and I think that they've made a good signing in Havertz. I think.
Okay,
you sure? Interesting. I'm curious. What do you know that I don't in this case? Because I'm pretty skeptical on the Havertz deal.
I don't know anything. I don't know their family. I don't know him. I don't know anything. What I'm saying is that from a footballing context. Right, and it doesn't have anything to do with colours, doesn't have anything to do with rival badges or, anything. It's not a Spurs fan talking about us. I'm talking about from a footballing context. He's a very versatile player, and and Arsenal play a certain way. So I think that what they lacked last season that may have cost them the title, you're talking about paying 60, 65, whatever the quantity they've paid, you're getting a 3 or 4 pointed player in one that, as Percy said, you can come off the bench or whatever and you can perhaps win them a game because you're playing a low block, you need someone to open a space, or you can do the final pass, you can score the goals, you can drag someone out of position. You've got like a Swiss Army knife kind of player there.
Yeah,
you've got a 4-in-1.
The only thing is the only argument I have is that if I was Arsenal fans, I'd be going, the price tag's a lot. We could have been using that elsewhere to improve. That would be the only argument.
You always get the criticism though in any player you buy.
It could go either way. He could come out and be an absolute success at Arsenal or be an absolute flop. I think it will be one of those, actually.
Fair. What would be success?
Yeah, no, I agree. We're going to go for 5 more minutes, guys. Everyone in the chat. I just want to say, guys, before we do, go and subscribe. Go over and subscribe to Chris. Go and subscribe to Alan. Ben in the chat. Go and subscribe to him. Where's your link? Why I forgot to pin it. I should have pinned it earlier. And go and subscribe to Jose. His link is in the chat. I just can't find it. You guys have been crazy in the chat. If I can, I will find it because Ben's been posting it regularly, and I didn't tag it at the one when I was meant to. But yeah, go and subscribe to Jose. His link. Ben will put his link in there at some point. When Ben puts it in, because Ben is the man, he will do it. And then go over there and subscribe to these guys. Because listen, everyone go and share each other, help each other out in the community. We are live 35 away from the massive 1,000. So if you haven't, please go over and subscribe. There's 135 of you in the chat. So if you can, that would be absolutely amazing if you could do so. And also, we were at 15 more likes, so we go over 100. So can we do that as well? There's loads of you in here. Smash the like button. We're gonna go for a couple more minutes, and I'm just gonna ask maybe the last sort of questions all around. Oh, someone's just subscribed. So that's 34. So much love to whoever's just hit the button.
Come on.
Much love to you. Last question, guys, is that who do you think now needs to be the next signing? Now we're presuming that the goalkeeper is going to be done and it'll be over the line maybe tomorrow. Who do you want to see next? Is it Maddison or is it going to be one of maybe Tapsoba or Adebayo, one of the defenders? I'll put that out to you guys. I'll go with Alan to start off with.
For me, it has to be, you have to sort of add that defence first. You know, Spurs have been criminal in the way we've needed that defence sorted for a couple of seasons and we've done pretty much nothing, next to nothing. The players that we've got there are not good enough. Obviously, Romero is a standout player, defender that people want to keep and build around, but you need at least another. Well, that's what not you, but that's what I'm saying. But you've got at least another two. At the moment, if you don't choose Romero, people
no, you have to. I'm not one of these. I know you have to play Romero, but we just need someone next to him that can actually defend.
Yeah, you need at least 2 defenders to come in to bridge the gap in class, because at the moment our defense is shocking. So for me, that is the area you need to sort out first. Our central attacking midfielder is needed, but I think it's one of them that we will get him. But for me, centre back needs to be sorted immediately. It's one of them things that should have been sorted 2 seasons ago, like properly, but it hasn't been.
Yeah. No, agree. Chris, I'd love to know your thoughts on who, as I said, if the goalkeeper signs tomorrow, which we're expecting today or tomorrow, what are your thoughts on who do you want to see next?
I'm not really particularly fussed on who we see next, as long as it gets done. Obviously, the reports are coming in that it's obviously central defenders, whether it's Tapsoba, whether it's Bremer from Juventus that he's been reported as well. I talked about it on my channel. Whether it's Mickey van der Veen or Tosin from Fulham. As long as we get it sorted out and the due diligence is done, it's early days still, but the work has to get done as soon as possible. But get it done properly. I'm not really fussed who, to be honest. But just as long as we get it done and done properly and according to what Ange needs. So Agreed. Yeah, not really fussed.
I think that's absolutely fair. And Jose, what about yourself?
For me, it's whoever we've got furthest down the line at the moment.
not picky at all. I like that.
Yeah, whoever we're furthest down the line with, bring them in, make the signing. As long as it's not Clement Longley.
Agreed. As long as it's and Abdi, I mean, I'm not going to ask you about Tottenham, but for an Arsenal standpoint, who do you want to see signed? Let's just say Havertz is done. After him, who do you want to see next?
I just want to see the Declan Rice saga come to an end ASAP. It's starting to drive me insane.
When he sat there holding a Man City shirt. I mean, I'm happy for that one.
I wouldn't necessarily mind it because I'd enjoy the meltdown.
Rice 41, Man City done with his mate Jack Grealish.
That would be funny to be fair.
And on that note, guys, we're going to finish up. As I said to everyone here, massive thank you for joining. Welcome always. I just wanted to say, guys, also next week it won't be every single day because I've got to go into the office on Tuesday and Thursday, so I can't stream. And then from Friday, I'm on a stag do in Hamburg, so I won't be streaming on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. I'll be back then the following Tuesday. So there's only going to be a couple of shows next week, but I'll try and bring out more videos. If I can, I might maybe move something into the evenings and move this show later on in the evenings on maybe the Tuesday or the Thursday, depending. I've got a lot to do on Thursday because obviously I've got to pack and stuff for going on a stag do. And as I've always said,
go and enjoy yourself, Perchy.
It's gonna be a fun. My mate's getting married, and we've organised quite a lot of fun stuff to go on it. It's gonna be.
You're gonna do a Jack Grealish.
Am I gonna do a Jack Grealish? I mean, I'm not being. I'm not going to do a Jack Grealish. I'm going to try and be
man.
Listen, if Spurs went and won the treble, I might have done a Jack Grealish at the stag do. Yeah, no, guys. So I just wanted to let people know. So if people thought so, as I said, next week it'll probably be Monday, Wednesday streaming. Doing the 12 o'clock show that I'll be doing next week. As I said, if I can build some time, I might build some in. I'm actually going on the Hotspur Way podcast on Tuesday, so I might be doing that. So keep an eye on that one. But anyway, guys, much love everyone in the chat. Thank you all for coming in. Can 11 of you, before you go, hit the like button and we're over 100. That'd be amazing on the way out. Guys, thank you very much for coming in again. And go and subscribe to these lovely people. On that note, have a lovely Sunday. Enjoy.